So recently we had a conference of the DSS in the Great Rift region, and we looked at academic programs and academic cultures that were previously established in great institutions by people like Kerry Francis, who did a great job at Maseno and later on established a sterling culture at Alliance High School. We looked at, Geoffrey Griffins, who did a great job in establishing an ecosystem of excellence at Starehe Boys Center. And we learned that actually academic programs are what defines the soul of an institution. Or we say sometimes that a school is as good as its academic programs. And in this case, we are using a special tool, gantt, to explain some of the programs that we analyzed through about 20 schools, top schools, and we came up with the following aspect as critical. The first thing is that we have a task that is supposed to be undertaken, or the academic program. Then we have the person assigned to, plus a few characteristics or features of that program. We have the progress, we have the time that program is supposed to start, we have the time that program is supposed to end, and this is presented in some nice Gantt chart on this other end, which we can run up and down. We can run like that, or if we want to see what is running across the term or across the year, then we would have something of that sort. First things first, if you want to achieve a mean of 10 and beyond, what you're having at this point here, then you must start with target setting and targets. Many people just set targets arbitrarily. That's wrong. Students must set their targets first, then the stream, then the school. When the person responsible for individual students is the student themselves, stream is the class teacher, the school target is by the form coordinator, or for those schools which don't have form coordinator, they are done by the DOS. For once you set the date when you want the students to submit their targets. Let's say we want this to be on 2nd June. I mean on 2nd of July, but we can bring it earlier. Let's say you want it to be on 29th of June. 29th of June. We want them to set their time. At that time, you can see this mode on this other end. Then for the classes, we want it to be set by slightly earlier on, so that instead of it going up to farm July, we can bring it to maybe first. This is let's say 6th. We do that, we bring it at that point. Then we have for school target, maybe it should come 2 days after this. So we say from this end here, instead of 13th, we can bring it to 10th, the same month. So we bring it far much on this other end, so that we say once the students have set theirs, it's 100%. As you can see, it's clear. If it's not 100%, let's say it's 13%, then it shows that it's not clear. So once you clear it, say it goes to 100%, then that's cleared. Let's say the class teacher has not set for their class, maybe only 50% of the classes have set. So we'll put it at that. It means that the form coordinator in that case has not set at all. Therefore, it will be, we say maybe it's 1%, like that. So you can see right from this is, the class still has a lot of work to do, depending on when the class teachers will submit their targets. So the second most important part is the syllabus coverage. And syllabus coverage, contrary to what many people think, that once you teach all topics, you're done with the syllabus, it is not true. The syllabus coverage, once you've covered it, let's say at 100%, or some schools may have covered 80%, you must consider other aspects that have to do with the syllabus coverage. That includes summary notes. You must have continuous summary notes from the students. You must have a topical revision throughout from the students. And let's say the topical revision is at 20%. That's some people call topical revision reteaching and so on. So we expect maybe reteaching to be done between 7th of this from July 9th to 30th July, or we can decide and say we are going to do topical revision up to August, and that means we're changing this. That is from this we add 30 days. We add 30 days from these dates, so that goes to that. So you can pull this and see that you have a long way to go in terms of topical revision. Other people may decide to say that we want to cover this topical revision very fast within a short time so that we concentrate on exams. So we can say our topical revision will be at 20 days. Then we drag that. You see this reduces in terms of that length. So that happens for English. You have assigned to the HOD, let's say Kate is at this point here. Then they are checking and verifying all these aspects throughout the classes. Kiswahili does the same. Math does the same. Biology, chemistry, physics, history, geography, CRA, business studies, and technical and applied subjects, they do the same. As you can see at this end here, this is 26th. So maybe plus maybe 30 days for us to be more reasonable. So you can see that is clearly visible moving on the other end. So we have special programs. A school must have special programs that determine what they're doing at a given point and so on. If it's the case of examiners and speakers, let's say only 10% have come, or maybe 70% have come, you indicate that, and you're able to see, you can drag through and see the end that you are able to achieve from end to end. There's a special group work here. This group formation, you may need to form the group. That should take a very, very short time. Let's say it takes from this end here, we are saying maybe it will only take us 5 days to form this group. So that is it on this other end. So this, and the group formation, as it's done, I'll say it's 100%. Each class has a group and it's functioning, so we clear that task. Then weekly tasks, these are given maybe every Monday, and by Friday you get the feedback. So if all the work has been given is 100%, but some classes may not be given in some weeks, so that may be 90%. Feedback, do we get from all the groups? Yes or not? Let's say only 90% gives us the feedback. You can see those changes. But a good school will ensure that tasks are given every day to every class, to every group. Weekly feedback, we get feedback every Friday from all these groups. Then there's this special party of peer-to-peer teaching. Are students able to teach each other after every group work? Then the feedback from the peer-to-peer teaching, you get that. Then we have these ability groups. Some schools would make the classes be totally separate. One class to be of bottom students, the other class to be middle, the other class to be at the top. But they have pros and cons, and cons. So you discover that it's good the students remain together, but they are singled out for special tasks for given days or given hours of the week. Let's say we are having our middle class attempting or having a class from, let's say, this date here to this date here. So let me say plus, let's say 21 days. We want to see what they're giving us after 21 days. Then we have that. So the feedback is at 80%. Then we are able to see that. This goes to contests, internal and external contests, symposiums, benchmarking, academic trips, and so on. Then we come to evaluation. This is very, very important for any academic system that is functioning effectively. So that means that we will have administration of the exam on a given date. After the administration of the exam has been done, then we'll have marking, then we'll have revision. So if all this is done, then you'll put the 100%. You will have cleared that part. But if it's maybe you didn't do revision, you did the administration of the exam, you did the marking, but there was no revision, so maybe that's going to be about 75%. like that. So you are able to clearly indicate, did you do the analysis? Say the analysis, you were to do it a week after these exams was done. Let's say now this is July, so July 19th, say this was to begin right from 20th, and that is July, like that. So we would clearly have that, then drag that and observe where you are at any given time. Let's say this is supposed to end, this is supposed to end it's supposed to end 30th. It's supposed to end 30th, that. So we come to that. So you can see after administration of the exam, after revision, we have analysis is to be done. After analysis, we have deviations, we have tracking, are we tracking all the subjects, are we tracking topics? Then we have motivation. Do we motivate our best class? Did we motivate our best student? Do we motivate our best student per subject? Did we motivate our most improved student? Now, this is supposed to be done for all the exams that students do in a school, so that maybe you did this for this exam, pre-mock, called Elite Series exam. Then you have to do the same for a Mokasa when you administer. You mark and you revise, you do the analysis of the results, you check the deviations, the tracking for all subjects, tracking for all topics, motivate the learners, and so on. You do that for KASUJET, you do that for KCSE model exam, and so on, including internal RATs and other topical exam for you to be able to achieve. This is very important if you want to achieve great results. So you can set this early in the term so that you know very well that we will set targets at this point here. From this date to this date, we will have streams this date to this date. You go ahead, you set syllabus coverage, you expect to finish syllabus topics and in this date, all topics, and then summary notes from this date to this date. Then you go ahead for group work. You know that you'll form our groups at this point and this point. Tasks will be given this way. This will be the criteria of analysis of the feedback. We are having them from each group, from each class, and so on. You do all this and you are able to. So these are the critical aspects that we found out that may vary from school to school, but the anchor point are as indicated in the schedule. If you want this complete Gantt chart, then you can reach us on the number that is indicated and you have yours immediately set up. Cheers, and you're most welcome.